You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, ready to answer all of your questions, all of Chiefs Kingdom. Just start sending them to me, and we will get to as many of them as we possibly can here on the show. All right, let's start with Jim Murphy. I know Joe Burrow's hot right now. What are all the weapons he has to throw to? Well, he's got several good weapons, okay? You've got T. Higgins, who just had a career game and ruined my fantasy football season, knocked me out in the semifinals of my league. You've got Tyler Boyd, and how about rookie phenom Ja'Marr Chase? So they've got a three-headed monster at receiver. You got Joe Mixon, who can run and catch out of the backfield, and C.J. Uzomah is a really good tight end. He's probably a top 10 tight end in the league now. So they got 5 legit weapons on that offense. So, yeah, Jim, this is a real challenge for the Chiefs defense. All right, Kevin Durantula. All right. Do you think Charvarius Ward deserves respect, and what do you think about – I don't know what else you were going to ask. We'll just focus on Ward here. Absolutely. Look, last year in the first half of this year, I was like, he's just not good anymore. I don't know what happened. He's not good. Second half of this season, though, he's a legit starter again. I mean, Charvarius Ward deserves a ton of credit for staying the course, getting that confidence back. I don't know what clicked, but I have full trust in him as an outside corner right now. Had another interception this weekend against Big Ben Roethlisberger. So, yeah, Ward has played well. I was very critical of him, and all he did is put his head down and go to work, and he's gotten back to being a quality player again. So good for him. This Chiefs secondary is playing a lot better with guys like him, Rashad Fenton, and, of course, L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, and the rest of that group. Caleb Harrell, do we extend Melvin Ingram's contract, or do we trade home for a draft pick? Do we extend his contract? So he's not – you can't really trade him because he's going to be a free agent after this year. But what you can do is you could extend him. You could sign him before he becomes a free agent open to the rest of the teams. I guess you could tag and trade him. I don't even know if he's franchise tag eligible, though, this late into his career. But in terms of would I bring him back, yeah, if it's for the right price, I think he's been a solid contributor for this team. Mahomie, hashtag Chiefs. What is your playoff prediction for the Chiefs? So I think the Chiefs, and maybe this is just coming on too strong, but I just trust what I've seen from this team the last 3 years. This team's winning the AFC. I just don't believe, because I think they'll win their final 2 games, get home field advantage, and I don't see a team out there right now that's going to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead in January. Maybe the Bills could do it again. They beat them in the regular season. Titans did beat them in Nashville earlier this year. I don't see it, though. I think Buffalo and the Colts are the 2 teams that scare me the most right now, but I still think if the Chiefs play their A game, they're not going to get beat, especially at home. So I just don't I don't see it happening. I think we had a question for the audience coming up here that we could ask Coop as we kind of figure out where the Chiefs figure into the AFC playoff picture. But, again, I think they're going to win the AFC and get back to the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean I think they're going to for sure win it, but I think they're playing the best ball right now. I'll ask you, though, will the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year? Revenge tour has been underway for a couple of months. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break, I'll make this the pinned comment. Scroll on down, get your votes in. Yes or no, will the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? Let's go to Gonzo The Beast. What's your percentage on a Super Bowl rematch this year? I mean, it's still not insanely high, right? Because the Chiefs have to win the AFC, the Bucs have to win the NFC. I'll go like 15%. It's definitely a good possibility. I think the Chiefs are the favorites in the AFC. I actually don't think the Bucs are the favorites currently in the NFC, though. I would put Green Bay ahead of them. Maybe Dallas. I mean, the way Dallas played against Washington, that's how they looked earlier in the year. And when Dallas's offense hums with the way their defense has improved, they're pretty hard to beat. I think the Bucs are going to miss Chris Godwin come playoff time, too. So I'll go 15%, but it's definitely like it's not zero. It's definitely a possibility that the Chiefs and the Bucs rematch in the Super Bowl. Tony Fuentes, did we get the playoff bye? Nothing's clinched, Tony. The Chiefs can clinch this week with a win against the Bengals and a loss for the Titans. If those 2 things happen, they clinch. If both teams win this week, then the Chiefs would either have to win in Week 18 as well against Denver or have the Titans lose their final game. Luis Duque, why haven't we extended Charvarius Ward? I mean, you don't want to make a rash decision over 6, 7, 8 games of quality play, and Brett Veach in this front office have to figure out which guys they can bring back, right? Because the Chiefs have a lot of big contracts, so the salary cap is going to be something that they're going to have to work through and try to figure out. But re-signing Charvarius Ward is definitely a very real possibility. Kevin Durantula, what do you think about Sneed versus Chase? They have the same speed, 4.38. What do you think about the free agents, Ward and Sneed? Well, Sneed's not going to be a free agent, so you don't have to worry about that. As far as Sneed versus Chase, I think it's going to be a fun matchup. Now, Sneed's been playing more slot recently. We'll see how much Chase lines up in the slot. I don't think you'll see Sneed shadow Chase because the Bengals have too many good receivers. What you might see is Sneed lined up on Tyler Boyd a lot. Boyd lines up in the slot a ton for Cincinnati. That's a good matchup as well. It's going to be a fun test for the secondary against Cincinnati because this group of receivers and Joe Burrow, they're the real deal. RileyGamer, Chiefs versus Packers Super Bowl. Thoughts? If I had to predict, that's probably the most likely Super Bowl. I'd give it like 18, 20%. I think the Chiefs are the clear favorite in the AFC. I think the Packers are the slight favorites in the NFC. I wouldn't make them clear favorites because I think the Packers, Bucks, Cowboys, and Rams could all conceivably win the NFC. If DeAndre Hopkins didn't get hurt for the Cardinals, I still think they'd have a chance, but that offense hasn't been the same without him. So Chiefs-Packers, that feels like the most likely scenario, but I'm not counting Tom Brady out. I'm not necessarily counting the Bills or some of these other AFC teams out either. It's going to be fun. I think that Mahomes, Rodgers, which we should have had earlier this season, but since Rodgers had COVID, we didn't get it. But to see it in the Super Bowl, that would be a blast. What's the best Christmas present that you got this year? I want to hear it. Best Christmas present. Come on. I want to know what the best present is that you got this year. I got a few good gifts. What I also did was give some family members this hat and t-shirt combo. I also bought one for myself because it's only $20. Chatsports.com/Chiefs deal. You want to rep this tee, rep this hat for only $20 total. I'm not joking. That's it. Go to that link below, chatsports.com/Chiefs deal. I'll put that link in the comments. It'll be in the description of this video. Click and shop today. It's a hell of a deal. Chatsports.com/Chiefs deal. Isaac Murphy, what AFC team are you most afraid of in the playoffs? It's a good question. Let's look at the playoff picture real quick, Coop. As I am about to sneeze, but I think it may have gone away. I think we're good. So you look at where things stack up, obviously. I think the teams that scare me the most, if Tennessee had Derrick Henry, that's a whole different team, but I don't think they're going to have him, so they don't scare me without him, and they haven't played as well recently. I think the Colts are coming on strong. I think that's a team to watch out for. Buffalo is probably I think Buffalo and Indy are the two teams, but it kind of changes every week. Buffalo went in a funk for a while. Now New England's kind of in a funk. The Ravens have lost 4 in a row. They don't concern me at all with how they're playing with the injuries they have. So I would go Buffalo and Indy as the two teams that concern me the most. PS4, the new frontier, do you think the Chiefs' defense can hold up against rushing teams like the Colts or Titans if they get back Henry? Yeah, that's why those two teams could be dangerous, because at times the Chiefs' run defense has gotten a little bit gashed. Now, they did a decent job on Najee Harris, but they still almost gave up 100 yards rushing. But we saw what Jonathan Taylor can do. We've seen that all year long. Now, they did a good job against Derrick Henry, but they still got blown out in that game because they had to respect Henry, which opened up the pass for Ryan Tannehill and those boys. So, yeah, I think a team that could run the ball consistently on the Chiefs could give this team some trouble. So, yeah, honestly, I'd maybe rather face Buffalo, who can't run the football. So, yeah, it just depends on what type of team you want to play. Matchups obviously play a big factor. Rxch King, free agents to sign next season, wide receiver, etc. What trades you think we can do? You know who'd be an interesting receiver to sign is Mike Williams from the Chargers. You know him well in the division. He's a big body receiver that can go up and get the football. He would give you a different look. I think he is the type of player you kind of hope Josh Gordon would be. And now I didn't think Josh Gordon would be Mike Williams, but maybe flash a little bit of that. No pun intended with the nickname Flash. But I think a big-bodied receiver that can catch some jump balls is pretty interesting to me. Michael Gallup for Dallas is going to be a free agent. Both those guys might cost more money than I think, but I think those are a couple of names to keep an eye on that you could put on the opposite side of Tyreek Hill. Subscribe to the channel, Chiefs news, rumors. When free agents sign this offseason, we'll have you guys covered with videos. So subscribe. Big playoff run ahead of us, and then a busy offseason as well. You guys see the link below, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Be sure to stay tapped in with the latest Chiefs videos, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Tony Fuentes, will Mahomes be MVP again? I don't think so. It sounds like it's going to be Rodgers again with how he's playing, the latest betting odds. If he wins the final 2 games, they win 10 games in a row. It's a pretty big mic drop. But as you guys know, a lot of those wins have been credited to the defense and how they've played. Mahomes is almost like, he's not quite to LeBron's level, but in the sense of like, he's in the conversation every year, but he has to be so unreal to actually win it because there's some fatigue there. I don't think he'll win it, but he's making a push to certainly at least be in the conversation. Gonzo The Beast, when it's all said and done, how many rings does Kelce get? What's Kelce, 31 now? I think he gets at least another one. I think they have a good chance to get one this year with the way they're playing. I'll say 3. How about 2 more? 2 more? We good? 2 more for Kelce? 3 or 4 more for Mahomes? Who says no? It's hard to win the Super Bowl, man, but this team's gone to 2 in a row and has a good chance to go this year. Kristophhh, are you a Chiefs fan or just a hosting? I like the Chiefs. Look, I grew up in Texas, so but I've kept an eye on the Chiefs for a while. I liked Trent Green when I was a kid. I've really come to like this team. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, when I was born I was a Chiefs fan, but I really do like covering them. They're a fun team. I like them quite a bit. I've loved them since Patrick Mahomes because I watched them a ton at Texas Tech, living down here in Chiefs country. So yeah, I mean, I you know, you guys, a lot of you guys have been fans longer than me, but I definitely do really enjoy watching this team play. Caleb Harrell, do you think somebody will try to snag Patrick Mahomes from us in the future? I mean, they can try, but he's under contract for the next 10 years or whatever it is. So. Well, he's a lifer, man. If he plays for another team, something's gone drastically wrong, or it's like he's 42 years old and he just wants to play 1 year with a different franchise. I mean, he's not going anywhere. 1 year with Dallas as a retirement project because he grew up in East Texas. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I think he's a lifelong Chiefs fan. There is no doubt about it. Follow me on Instagram. We can't get to every question on these shows, but I always reply to you guys on IG. So give me a follow at HGramNFL. We just crossed 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I appreciate the love, the support. Go follow me and slide in the DMs some of your questions, and we'll answer as many as we can, as often as we can.